be it book talk, booktube, bookstagram. That's an eagle outside my window. He has come to join in on the fun. He's actually my friend. Oh, there's a crow joining him as well. Oh my god. Why is it always when I'm filming, these people show up right outside my window? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am the Midnight Reader, and today I'm here with some amazing survival romance recommendations for you guys. I personally love this genre, trope, or whatever you want to call it, but I don't see such books being recommended anywhere, be it book talk, bookstagram, booktube. But I know that there is a specific audience like me who loves survival romances, so this video is for you guys. But if you are someone who does not like this trope or genre, then I would still suggest you try one of my recommendations because they are that good. Also, if you're completely new to survival romances, then you're in the right place, my friend, because there was a time I used to actively search up such books and read them, so I've got a lot of variety today, which, by the way, is one of the most amazing things about survival romances, is there can be so many types. Sometimes it's the end of the world apocalypse type of situation where the internet no longer exists and electricity does not work, or it could be two people stranded on an island, or it could be aliens invading Earth, or you being the one sent to a different alien planet and having to survive over there. I mean, you guys get the point. There's just so much to explore with this genre. So, without further ado, let's jump right into my first recommendation, which is Surviving Rain by Shay Savage. This book was an easy 5-star read for me, and I have read this book twice now, which is saying something because I am a person who rarely ever rereads books. In this book, we are following Sebastian Stark, who is the captain of a ship, and he is someone with a very shady past, and he prefers vodka and solitude, but when his ship sinks, he ends up stranded on a life raft with Rain, a young, sunshiny passenger who is also aboard his ship. And as they struggle to survive with barely any food or water, Sebastian slowly starts letting his walls down. But things get messy when Rain realizes that their paths might be connected, and suddenly surviving her becomes his biggest challenge. I'm just gonna put it out there that Sebastian is a walking red flag. He is a womanizer, an alcoholic, he's got anger issues. It's the whole package, guys, but somehow you still end up falling for this man. He's one of those characters where you just know that life has made him this way, and he truly gives the quote, monsters are made, not born. As for Rain, she is literally the light to his darkness. She is just so patient with him, even when he's being impossible, and you cannot help but love her for it. The romance in here is just so freaking good. It's a smutty slow burn done right with all the best tropes, grumpy sunshine, hate to love, forced proximity, you name it. Watching these two go from why the hell am I stuck with you to I am never letting you go had me screaming. Oh, I just love this one so much. Moving on, the next book I have for you guys is Just a Bit Wrecked by Alessandra Hazard. This one was another 5-star read for me, and it's an romance. In here, we're following Andrew and Logan, who end up stranded on a deserted island after a plane crash. Andrew is openly homophobic, whereas Logan is very much comfortable in his sexuality, being a gay man, so you can already imagine the tension. What starts off as pure hatred slowly turns into something way deeper as they are forced to rely on each other just to survive. The setting of this book is honestly one of the best settings I have ever come across in a book. The whole stuck together with no escape vibe mixed with their specific dynamic is just chef's kiss. Andrew was such a chaotic character. He's short tempered, throwing tantrums all the time, and honestly just a mess, but still weirdly endearing as the story goes on. Logan, on the other hand, was his complete opposite. He's the calm, patient one, always holding things together. He really became the anchor in such a stressful situation, and I loved him for that. The chemistry these two shared was insane. Like, I'm telling you guys, the tension was already there, but when things started shifting, it was intense. We had a whole mix of desperation, emotions, and forced proximity that made everything hit harder. But of course, beyond the romance, Andrew's emotional journey really stood out to me. Him losing his wife, his grief, him feeling isolated, and slowly becoming dependent on Logan. It was a lot, and you could really feel his internal struggle. Overall, this is an intense, spicy, emotional read, and I loved every second of it. A Wilderness Within by Emma Castle. In this book, 90% of the world's population has been wiped out by a deadly virus called Hydra 1, and we are left with some survivors like Major Lincoln Atwood, who is just trying to get through the day, and he has pretty much lost all hope until he meets Caroline, who, of course, does not trust him at all. My biggest issue with this book was the fact that the characters had little to no development. Lincoln is your typical big, tough Delta Force guy, strong, capable, all that. But the way he immediately decided Caroline was his gave very extreme caveman energy and not in a good way. But again, I just feel like I was caught off guard and I was not expecting that. Which is why I'm still recommending this book because I know that there are people who dig that sort of stuff, the possessive alcohol dominant MMCs. So if you're someone who enjoys that, you might like this book more than I did. As for Caroline, she started off as a strong, independent woman, so I was really excited for her character, but that kind of disappeared when she was with Lincoln. So it was kind of disappointing. I did like her poetry telling though, and how she gave people hope. So yeah, this was definitely insta love. The man meets her and basically says he wants her right away, and I was just expecting a slow burn. That said, I did not completely hate their relationship. They generally had some very sweet moments, like opening up to each other, treating wounds, and just being there when times got tough. Overall, I would say this is a very decent read, and I would recommend this book if you're someone who prefers a more solid plotline over the romance, because the pandemic aspect in here was actually very well done. It was very detailed and graphic, especially with how everything unfolded and how they worked towards a vaccine. As for my rating, I give this book 3 stars. On the Island by Tracy Garcia Graves. Okay, so in here we are following Anna Emerson, a 30-year-old English teacher who agrees to tutor 17-year-old TJ in the Maldives, but things go very, very wrong when their seaplane crashes and they end up stranded on a deserted island. From there, it's all about survival, and over the years, they are stuck on the island. They end up forming a really strong bond as TJ grows up. The age gap in here barely felt like one. I mean, usually that sort of dynamic brings a lot of generational tension, but Anna just did not act her age. In fact, she felt way younger. As for TJ, I would say that he was the more interesting character. Watching him go from being a scared kid to someone who steps up and takes charge was honestly really satisfying to watch. The setup of this book was super intriguing at first. The whole tutor plus 6 student angle just had so much potential. But after a while, things started feeling way too unrealistic. Like their bags washing up on shore one day with everything inside intact, and them fixing every type of illness with Tylenol. Also, if I'm not wrong, there was a point in this book where they ended up befriending some dolphins. So, yeah, it definitely drifted into fantasy territory. As for the romance, I feel like it showed up way too late with barely any build up. But the second half, when they returned back to civilization, completely pulled me back in. All the judgment, the complications, and personal struggles they faced after being rescued was actually my favorite part. So, yeah, even though some parts were ridiculous, this book was still pretty engaging. I'm not saying it's the best survival or age gap romance out there, but it was still very much fun, and I ended up giving it 3 stars. Lastly, I would like to recommend Ensnared by Tiffany Roberts. Fair warning, guys, this is a wild recommendation. If you cannot tell from the cover, it's a alien survival romance, and in this book, we are following Keaton, who is a literal spider. Yes, you heard that right. A spider who prefers living out in the wild instead of with his own kind, which is how one day he comes across a spaceship and finds Ivy Foster, a small human girl. Keaton is such a sweetheart. He is so protective, gentle, and just genuinely cared so much about Ivy. The way he got confused about human things was so freaking adorable. As for Ivy, she was great as well. She's smart, she's brave, and she really tried to understand Keaton and his world, all while holding on to the hope that there might be other survivors out there, even though forgetting about everything else and just staying with Keaton started to feel tempting at one point. The romance, of course, is so freaking good. Watching them figure each other out, the tension, the curiosity, it is just all so well written. And yeah, the spice is definitely out of this world. Somehow the author really made the whole alien spider romance feel completely normal. I don't know how she did it, but she did, and I shamelessly ate it up. I give this book 4 stars, and it's not a full five, only and only because the whole Spider Society and the Queen stuff in the beginning was kind of confusing, especially the chapters from Keaton's POV. So if you're planning to pick this book up, I would highly suggest that you read at least until 30% of the book before deciding whether or not it's for you, because once you get past that mark, it is so totally worth it. So yeah, those were some of my survival romance recommendations for you guys. Do let me know what books I should recommend next. And of course, thank you so much for watching. Do give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.